Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars and welcome to another PlayStation review. Today I'm taking a look at Cluedo for the PlayStation 4. Now this came out late last year, I think. I picked this up very recently in a PlayStation Store sale. I quite like these type of games. They're quite fun to kind of play with the friends and the family, and they're quite good party games. And it's a classic tabletop game as well, so I thought the sale was pretty cheap, so I thought I would give it a go. So I'm here to give you my feedback on the game. Now, what do you get with Cluedo? Well, exactly what you might expect to get with Cluedo. It is the classic board game, and you've got a few different options when you're going into the game. For a start, you can choose to play the game single player, so it's you against computer-controlled players. There's a few different difficulty levels. There's 3, so you've got easy, medium, and hard. And the best I can figure in regards to the difficulty levels, if you play it on easy, some of the suggestions that the players will make, if they're like computer control players, don't make any sense. So there's not a lot of thought goes into it, clearly. But as you increase the difficulty level, that kind of improves, I suppose. So the chances are that as you increase the difficulty level, they're more likely to find the killer before you do, if you like. That's kind of how the difficulty levels appear to work to me anyway. So you've got your single player mode, then there's an online multiplayer mode. There is an online mode with friends, so you can play this remotely with your friends, and you all have like a private passcode to join the game, which I think is a pretty cool way for you to play with 6 different friends all around the world. If you've got different friends on your PlayStation friends list, it's quite a cool idea. And then you've got local play, so if you've got friends over, you're having a party, or you're having some guests around, you could all play this game. Local play, round 1 screen, up to 6 friends. So there's quite a few options there for you to kind of explore and play with different people, which is a nice thing. Now, you've got as well, when you go into the game, you've got 3 different modes to consider when you're playing Cluedo. Now, you've got the classic mode, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's the classic mode of playing Cluedo. So you go into the game, it shuffles the cards, you each get 3 cards, and then you roll the dice, go into a particular room, whether that be the kitchen, the ballroom, the dining room, etc. And then you make a suggestion where you pick who you think might be the killer, then the weapon that they've used, and the room that you are in. And then by process of elimination, some of the characters will tell you if they've got them cards. If they do have them cards, they'll tell you they've got them, and then you can, as you see on the right hand side there, you've got like a scorecard, and it marks off with a cross if it can't possibly be that person. As you can see there on the right, quite a few crosses showing up there. So by process of elimination, eventually you'll get to the point where you can make an educated guess as to who the killer might be, and at that point you make an accusation. Right, so classic Cluedo mode there. It's if you play a lot of Cluedo, it'll feel very familiar to you, sort of thing. Each game can last up to about half an hour, maybe a little bit longer, probably longer if you're doing it online or with your friends, sort of thing. And then you've got another mode that you can consider doing. It's called the Ultimate Detective mode. It works very similar to the classic mode, apart from you can move intermittently quite easily between the rooms, and you can ask in secret a question of one of the other players after each turn if you've got what a question to ask. And you can ask them if they've got a particular card or a particular weapon or a particular location, and it gives you an advantage on your scorecard because you can cross them off without the others knowing, sort of thing, because you're asking that question secretly. So you or the other players have got a bit of an advantage there. If they get their questions right, they've got a better chance of making the accusation and getting it correct, sort of thing. And then you've got the third option, which is clue cards, as you can see there on the right hand side. Now, In actual fact, Clue Cards is probably my favourite mode to play. It's basically more fast paced. So how the Clue Cards works is you roll the dice, and if like a magnifying glass turns up on one of the dice that you roll, it's a clue card, and it will reveal a clue, and then it might say everybody has to reveal a location, so everybody has to show one of their cards, and it's got other clues and stuff, and it kind of speeds the game up, sort of thing. And that's the main way it works, which, you know, if you want in a bit more of a fast-paced game, because some of the games can actually drag on a little bit, then that's the mode for you. You've got all the usual characters that you would expect here for Cluedo. You've got, you know, grey, plum, peacock, white, scarlet. Plus there are more as well, depending on the location that you go to, because the edition that I picked up, I think, was the deluxe edition on sale at the PlayStation Store. And it has a couple of extra locations included in it. You've got like a tropical location, and you've got like another like mansion type thing. So I can't remember. I've tried them all, and it's the same game. It's just a different location, and depending on the location that you're at, you will get some different characters at that location. So it changes the aesthetic, but beyond that, it doesn't really make a huge amount of difference to how the game plays. If I'm being particularly honest, they're just wearing different clothes. You're in a different location, so therefore the aesthetic is slightly different. But it changes things up, you know what I mean? I think it would have been boring if you were just in one location for the whole game and just kind of rinsing and repeating the classic mode. And that's what you do, basically. It's no more complicated than it sounds, really. Once you're playing the game, once you've eliminated as many of the killers, weapons and locations that you think the killing could have taken place, then it's time for you to make your accusation. If, however, you get the accusation wrong, you only get one shot at this, the game is over. So you need to be fairly sure. I mean, it does get to the point where you can kind of make a bit of an educated guess, but I've done that as well in the game and I've been wrong. So you really do need to take your time here with the game and make sure that, you know, the accusation that you eventually make is the right one for you to win the game. And when you win the game, you know, that's when you kind of, it's not really level up, but it kind of gives you objectives to complete, and it'll open up the trophies and all that kind of stuff. But it's, you know, it's not like you're going to level up Professor Plum and things like that. That's just not how the game works. So if you're looking for a fairly cheap family party game, you could do far worse than this. It's definitely worth picking up on a sale if you like games like this. I'm going to give it a fairly solid 7 out of 10. It's exactly what you think it's going to be. It doesn't pretend to be anything more than that, so just be aware when you're going into it. You know, it's really the board game come to life on a computer game. So thanks very much for joining me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope you found it useful. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.